If there's one thing that will kill Back4Blood, it sure as hell won't be the annual pass, it'll be Warner Bros. Or the balancing issues people experienced during the closed alpha testing, which thankfully led to the delay of the game. But for some reason the guy we'll be reacting to today seems to think that the annual pass, which is essentially just a season pass, will somehow be what kills Back4Blood, even though to my knowledge an annual pass / season pass has never killed a game before. So without further delay, I'll let the video play.
A quick point about Back4Blood and the big issue that has potential to tank the game. Let me say up front that everything about the game itself looks very interesting.
Thrilling moment-to-moment gameplay, 4-player co-op with competitive PvP, a bigger fight with much bigger enemies, and extreme replayability. Before we start spending time on making sure that the game looks good, we have to make sure that we have a fun, core gameplay experience.
I had to speed up the clip at the end there because he's tried to mimic what IGN does in some of their videos, however he's forgotten some of the fundamentals of what they do in those. For one, they usually have much shorter clips than 20+ seconds, and another thing IGN does is they usually use game clips or dev content to go into transitions. But in this case the clip just doesn't fit and ends up being quite frustrating to sit through.
It looks very much like a worthy spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead, and I am really anticipating it. But there's something that I'm really worried about, especially given the history that Turtle Rock Studios had with previous games. Turtle Rock Studios is probably most famous for developing Counter-Strike Source and then Left 4 Dead, the original one. And then of course Evolve, which was driven headfirst into a wall.
And I fear something similar could happen with Back4Blood. The gameplay itself looks very good. Nothing revolutionary, but decent. The issue is the monetization strategy of the publisher Warner Bros.
I'm honestly not quite sure why he's so worried about the monetization in the game. They've made it pretty clear the current system won't be connected to microtransactions, and so far the only thing they've announced that will cost money pre-launch is the DLCs for the game, which will be included in an annual pass, you know, like shit tons of other games do. So I really don't get why he's scared about the monetization at the moment.
How much will Back4Blood cost? The price will depend on the territory where the game is sold. In the United States, Back4Blood will be available in a standard edition for $59.99 on PC and $70 on consoles, a deluxe edition for €90 or dollars, and an ultimate edition for $100. What is so special about the deluxe edition and the ultimate edition? They come with a season pass included. They don't call it season pass, but it's a season pass. This means that shortly after launch, the community will be split into those with additional content and those without. This being a type of monetization strategy that most big developers have left behind because of the many problems it causes.
This is extremely misleading if I'm being completely honest. The model hasn't been left behind because of the quote-unquote issues it causes. It was left behind because developers like Epic Games found a new way of monetizing games which players weren't completely against, that at the same time made them more money than a season pass / annual pass system does, aka battle passes. Battle passes allow developers to make far more money than an annual pass or season pass does. However, battle passes being profitable can only happen if the developer is big enough to have enough efficiency to constantly offer hundreds of cosmetics as well as constant free DLCs for a game every 3 months or so, which is why it's far better for Back4Blood to have an annual pass since it's a new IP and the developers aren't massive like Epic Games or Activision are.
$60 or $70 on consoles is already a high price for this type of game. Sure, it looks pretty, but the amount of content announced is limited. And it looks like you're not getting a lot of bang for your buck.
The pricing seems pretty standard, and the only version of the game which isn't offering much bang for your buck is the $100 version, which I don't think surprises anyone, and I doubt anyone will actually buy it unless they're a moron. However, the deluxe edition seems reasonably priced for what it is giving you, since it's just the version that comes with the annual pass along with some skins. However, this guy is going to somehow claim this is a problem, even though it was never a problem for games like Destiny before they went free to play, and Call of Duty before they moved to using battle passes in Cold War.
And then in the following year, for the next season, or how they call it, annual pass, you're supposed to pay the next $30 for one story and a few new zombies? No thanks.
Damn, I guess this guy must have hated every Call of Duty up until Cold War release, Destiny and most games that have been released. Also, no, it's not just one new story, like he for some reason says, even though he literally tells you that there's gonna be 3 DLCs included, as well as new enemy types, and so on. This is such standard stuff, and I really don't get why he hates it so much. And to put it into perspective, compared to other games that offer annual passes / season passes, this is actually a pretty good deal. Doom Eternal's Year 1 pass offers less content for a similar price, and frankly, most people really like the Year 1 pass since it's offered a good amount of content. So I really don't see how this is an issue for Back4Blood, but not Doom Eternal, when the devs are seemingly going to offer more content than most other games.
Fracturing the community into 2 camps of Season Pass and non-Season Pass holders is not a smart move, especially if you're trying to establish a new franchise. And in the worst case, this could mean that the game is out of players within a few months.
And what exactly are you basing this claim on? Because I have never seen a game die out solely because of the game's annual pass / season pass. In the absolute worst case scenario, the DLCs, matchmaking will be dead, or the base game will be dead and the DLCs will be alive, not the entire game being dead. Nobody's suddenly going to ditch a game because more content is available. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, and this is simply fear mongering for views.
We've seen it before, this is a real possibility.
And yet you failed to mention any examples.
Games without players will not be supported, will not get content, and will be shut down quickly.
No shit.
I think it's pretty damn obvious the developer won't support a game if there's no one playing it. They exist to make money, not to please the 100 people left playing a game.
And the inclusion of a season pass leads me to suspect there will be another big issue. Custom content may not be very welcome.
Welcome to gaming in 2021, my guy. But either way, the developers have said they're open to custom content, but they need to get Warner Bros. To like the idea as well. Also, this has nothing to do with the annual pass. As long as players aren't making the DLC content available for free via custom content, then it normally wouldn't cause an issue. But as I said a second ago, Warner Bros. Are usually pretty restrictive when it comes to games they publish or make. Plus, this is pretty much solely an issue for the PC version and not the entire game, so I doubt this alone could kill the game, which he's acting like it could.
And I worry that without community content, Back4Blood will die out. Because how awesome would it be to recreate old Left 4 Dead classics in Back4Blood?
I mean, yeah, it would be cool, but it's completely unnecessary for the game to survive since they're adding new content themselves anyway.
Let us quickly listen in to what the developers had to say.
We're going to be constantly making content and watching other people make content that we can share with each other. Gamers are going to be showing us things we didn't even know could happen.
We want the game to change over time, and so we're excited to release the game and then see what the community attaches to and what they get really excited about.
We want to keep adding to the game, working with the community to make the game better.
Because that's what keeps it thriving.
We're really looking at working on this for as many years as we possibly can.
This is the last frame they show of him here. He looks kinda doubtful, doesn't he?
It just looks like he doesn't want to be there, which is understandable considering how many hours developers have to put in during the game development cycle. And by the sounds of it, they are going to allow custom content, but it will be regulated by the dev team.
At a first glance, this sounds really nice. But actually, it doesn't sound like they are talking about things akin to Steam Workshop content, custom campaigns, custom skins, or anything akin to playable community content. Sounds more like tweets, artwork, or cool YouTube videos. Their words, paired with the images they show, people doing a podcast of some sorts, well, this leads me to believe that they are not talking about community content in regards to level design, custom models, skins, sounds, or any other kind of add-on you would like to create.
I really don't get how he got that from the interview. To me, it just sounds like he's being overly pessimistic on purpose, since it sounds like they're going to be regulating the custom content, or at the very least they'll be listening to player feedback and implementing some of the things the community wants, like what a lot of games are doing now. And personally, I don't have much of an issue with this.
This is of course a very negative outlook into the future, but I am kind of past giving the benefit of the doubt to any big company.
Well, I guess I was right about him being overly pessimistic.
It has happened far too often that live service means planning out a game, planning out some content that will be pushed in the coming year, and then drop the game if the player numbers are not absolutely overwhelming. Yes, they say they want to support the game as long as possible. What is the time frame given in that as long as possible? Well, as long as Warner Bros. Sees this as profitable.
No shit.
Why is he acting like this is something incredibly shocking? Why would a company want to waste money on a dead game? It makes absolutely no sense. And I'm pretty sure if the devs really wanted to continue support, if Warner Brothers dipped from the project, they could just get a new publisher unless Warner Bros. Owns the right to Back4Blood, since as far as I can tell, Turtle Rock Studios are not owned by Warner Bros.
They already mentioned character skins and sprays, so there will be lots of microtransactions. You will have cards with which you can manipulate the game. These will probably be sold as well.
Why the fuck do people have problems with cosmetic microtransactions? And also, no, the cards are not going to be sold, and they also have no plans to sell them.
Chris, I don't know if you can speak to this, but the cards do make me a little worried. Are the cards all going to be like paid or whatever, or can you not answer that question?
No, we're not doing anything like that. That was the one thing that we were worried about in sort of calling them cards, was just that people think card game and I'm going to buy stuff. Yeah, so unfortunately, we feel like it's worth the risk though, as far as people understand cards and they understand playing cards and earning cards, and plus visually they're cool, at least the ones that we have arted out and stuff so far. And collecting cards is cool, and so the feedback from focus testing was super positive on the cards as sort of a fiction.
We're not gonna be buying card packs and like okay.
So as you can clearly see, the devs have said they have no plans to sell card packs, and it's definitely not something you should currently be worrying about. The rest of the guy's video is him claiming the game might over monetize cards, which we know isn't true, and he also just says that he worries for its future. So we have finally come to the end of his video. Now if you do want to watch an actually good video on Back4Blood, then I will recommend you go check out Tyler McVicker's video on the situation, as instead of focusing on stuff like the annual pass, he focuses more on the issues the alpha actually had when he played it, and how the game should be delayed, which did actually happen. So with all of that said, I hope you enjoyed my video. Please do not forget to do all the things YouTubers love to beg you to do, aka check out my Twitter, Discord, as well as like, comment and subscribe. So I will see you all in my next video.